It's Shannon.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live.
It's
It's
Shannon.
crazy now because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put your community first.
Hi, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And as you know, this is Black History Month, and I'd like to give tribute to one of our trailblazers, but this is someone who's living, not someone that's passed away. I want to pay tribute to the living trailblazer. So I would like to pay tribute tonight to Dr. Evelyn Castro. She started teaching in the New York City public schools. She was quickly identified as a gifted educator and strong administrator. She became the principal of IS 308 and later at the Hunter College Elementary School. Dr. Castro has extensive teaching experience within the City University of New York. She has served on the faculty at Hunter College, Queens College, Brooklyn College, and Medgar Evers College. Dr. Castro became the superintendent for District 17. She is a visionary leader and has been characterized as a parent advocate and a strong belief in community outreach. She was appointed Dean of the Schools of Liberal Arts and Education at Medgar Evers College. She carries out President's vision to create an educational pipeline that students in Central Brooklyn from the cradle to college. She has served in several high school profile positions in her career, too many to name. Presently, Dr. Castro serves as the senior advisor to the president of the Community Engagement and dean for School of Professional and Community Development. She was an undergrad at Morgan State University. She has an MS in early childhood elementary education, double master's from Bank Street College of Education, and EDM and an EDD in education from Columbia University, and her postdoctorate at Harvard University. We salute you, Dr. Evelyn Castro, trailblazer for the people of New York. So that's one of my favorite people for Black History Month. So tonight's show, we're just so excited tonight with our special guest coming on that's going to talk to us about how to manifest what we want in our life. And you can't wait to hear that. So let's bring her on.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, it's
We
good.
great. Great. Wait to
Good.
hear
How you
what's going
doing?
on in this practice. I'm excited. I want to see what is going on and how I'm looking to manifest my best self.
Yes.
That's
let's talk
life.
about it.
So tell us first, so in case someone really don't understand what manifesting is. So tell us what manifesting is first before we, get
So,
into the week.
yeah. I mean, you guys have probably heard the word being thrown around lately. It's very hot. People are talking about it a lot. Manifesting in its very simplest form, or I guess the simplest way we think about it is speaking what you want into existence. And so it really became popular, I think, in like 2006 when that book, The Secret, came out. And the law of attraction became the big topic. And really what the law of attraction is about is it's you attract what you think. So if you have positive positive thoughts, then you're going to have positive things coming into your life. And on the flip side, if you have negative thoughts, you're going to have negative things coming into your life. So you attract what you think. And it kind of became a big subject for folks like Oprah, who now does her own manifesting stuff all the time, and people like Steve Harvey and Deepak Chopra, and J Lo. All of these successful people really point to manifesting as how they got there. But I like to tell people that these are hardworking folks, right? These aren't people who just sat back and said, "Oh, I want to be a billionaire," and waited for
And waited.
the world to bring it to them. They worked their butts off.
Absolutely.
They
Absolutely.
had a plan, they had a vision, and they followed through. And so manifesting, really, when it comes down to it, is about having a vision of what it is that you want and then working towards it systematically. And by putting it out there in the forefront, speaking it out into existence, then you start to become more aware of opportunities. You start to be able to attract the stuff, what it is that you want, because you are speaking it out to other people. You are doing the things, and now it's more present in your life, and you're more aware of those opportunities.
So
Absolutely.
what it is, we think of what we want, and then we put a plan together as to how we gonna get there.
Yes, but it can't, I can say that I want to be the president of the United States, right? I don't know how realistic that is for me. It might be, but
Nowadays, anything is possible.
Anything.
I would have to sit and I would have to think about how that might be possible. You have to, it has to be realistic. Okay. So you want to have a realistic goal. And yes, things like money, things like love, things like a healthy sex life, all of these things can be manifested, but it does have to be within,
the realm of reality.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, that's what they say, right? You gotta write the vision to make it plain. So sometimes people just think about it, but they write it down. They can see it, they can entertain, they can be attuned to it, and you can see it over and over, and it reminds you every day of what type of accountability you can give yourself, to see that manifestation in the stages that you can grow to get from point A to point B.
That's
Absolutely.
right. That's right. And
So that's why I was saying about the plan. That's why I was saying about, making a plan to get there. So, I mean, just like I was telling you, I didn't know that was manifesting at that time, when I was telling you that this job I wanted, I always wanted to work for the chancellor. And at that time I was a secretary. But then I say, this is what's going to happen to me during my career here at the Board of Ed. So I started putting in motion how I was going to get there. And I mean, I went through a lot to get there, but I did get there. So I did manifest it into
you are a natural manifester. You might not have had the language to go along with it, but you knew how to get it done. And I think a lot of people are naturally I think I was a natural manifester at a very young age. I saw kids, I was in the same classes and the same groups with these kids who were in the gifted and talented program, but I was not in the gifted and talented program. And it just came down to the fact that I never tested for it, right? Maybe my parents maybe missed a note or something that went home, whatever. I never did that test. And so at 11, I figured out the plan, how I was going to get into the gifted and talented program. I went up to my teacher. I said, test me on the spot. I should be in this program. He tested me. He said, I'm not in charge, but let's see what we can do. And a plan was set in motion. And I ended up being in that program because I saw the vision. I knew that I belonged there, and I backed it up with the actions.
But just like you said, we don't have the language, right? So we're not thinking about that. We're not discussing that narrative at the table, but we all unconsciously manifest what we want, because when you, as a child, you think about what you want to do when you grow up. So there's going to school, you need training, you need exposure, and it's a process. And although we're not looking at it in those terms, we're still manifesting, getting to that next level, getting to where you want to be. So it's good that now people can now identify the process and then believe in the process.
Yeah. And I think that's where people get stuck, because they don't think about the process. They just think about wanting something and then think it's going to come to them. But there is a process. There are steps that you need to take to actually get there.
There's levels to this.
Yes. So when I talk about manifesting in particular with my clients, we talk about the stages. There are 4 stages that I like to highlight. The first one is identifying what it is that you want. And so that's, what we were talking about earlier. The goal needs to be realistic. It needs to be measurable. You need to be able to break it down into steps. And so you want to pick something that is meaningful to you, something that is valuable to you, right? So that includes your values. For me, that's what motivates me when my goals, what I want, is somehow tied to my family. That's what motivates me. So when it's tied to your values, it can be really motivating also. So that is the first step. And so you spend a lot of time figuring out what exactly it is that you want, what you want to attract into your in your life. But then the next step, which is, also very important, is setting an intention. And when I say setting an intention, I mean putting aside time every day, carving aside time every day to follow through with the actions that you need to be able to reach your goals. And that's different for everybody. But one of the things that I have found to be pretty true is that really successful people tend to have a morning routine. They tend to have like a structure to their life. They wake up, they get things done early, and they're aware of what it is that they want to achieve throughout the day. And so being able to have that kind of intention that you set for yourself, whether it's through journaling, whether it's through meditating, whether it's through vision boarding, that's setting aside that time every day for yourself to be able to focus on what it is that you want to accomplish. So that's my step 2 there.
And that's so true too, because that planning, I'm a planner. I plan everything. Personal life, business life, everything is planned for that day. People are like, I don't understand how you do it. But that's just how
It's
I
how
am.
day works.
I have to make sure this is the plan, and I know what I'm going to do a week or 2 from now or whatever. And I want to say also, when you were saying a few minutes ago, in between, trying to get where you need to get to manifest what it is that it depends on how determined you are and how motivated you are. That's
Right.
the first. If you passionate about it and you motivated about it, you would do whatever you have to make it happen.
Yeah.
Because that's how I am. If I got my sights set on something, I'm not gonna step on anybody. But if you get in my way, I'm gonna have to find a way to get you out of the way without hurting you, because I'm gonna get the way I need to get.
Yes. Well, and that's why I think that values piece is so important. I think that's why, when it's tied to your values, to what's important to you, then you're more passionate about it. Because it could be something that maybe you're not quite as passionate about, but if it's valuable to you, then you feel that motivation to
we're gonna take a quick break, and we're coming back with more of Manifesting Myself in Life. We'll be right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
You gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's what white people think. You alright?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you wanna talk about it?
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
We're back. Thanks for joining us. We are talking about how to manifest what we want in life. I wanted to also ask you now too, you can be but you can be wanting to do more than one thing. Like you can manifest more than one thing in your life that you might want to be.
You can multitask these manifestations.
Yes, you can manifest.
You can multitask these manifestations.
Exactly.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
You
like
can
in other words,
multitask
we want
and
a
you
career. We want a career. We want a man.
Yeah.
We want some children.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I would say that as we think about this manifestation in the phase of things in the realm of what we want to do, I think coupling self-care with your manifestation goals is something that's going to help you get to that stage. Because if you don't focus on self-care, you're not going to be able to think. You're not going to be able to hone in on the ideas and be able to put those things in action. And sometimes I always tell people, just like you make a doctor's appointment, you making it point, pencil yourself in on your calendar, time just for you. It is so important to get to couple these things and thoughts.
Yeah, don't bother me between 12:30 and 2.
Oh, we know.
I'm watching my Suits.
We know.
We know.
We are aware.
That's so funny. That's a East Coast. I'm from the West Coast, so 11 a.m. was YNR for us, but it comes on later on the East Coast. That's you're so right, and that's part of that intention, setting that intention for me. And when I work with my clients, I really am big on a morning and evening routine. And in that morning routine, you know, you're journaling, you're doing a little meditation, you're doing some exercise for yourself. That is the self-care piece. And then throughout the day, you're doing little stuff. You're having mindful moments throughout the day. Just, you know, soaking it in, getting grounded, taking care of yourself, having a break.
Yes. As Cat Williams says, getting in tune with your star player.
Oh, yes. I like that.
Okay.
Main character energy here.
Main character energy.
So the next part of it, the next step number 3 is to create an action plan. So we can have a great goal, but if there's not an action plan to back it up, then we're just going to stay stuck. So
it's a dream. Yeah.
Right. So you want to be able to figure out what those steps are that you need to take to get there. And you want to spend a dedicated amount of time to that every day. So, you know, however you fit it in, it's in your calendar. And whether it's that you're talking to a mentor, or you're talking to a friend, or you're setting up a meeting here, or you're doing this thing, you are working towards it every day. And within that, I get excited about this part. Within that, you want to make sure you're doing 2 things. You want to make sure you are embracing the challenges, because there's going to be challenges that pop up. It's just a part of life, and you're going to have setbacks. And if you can learn to embrace them instead of being worn down or beaten down by them, that's where you grow. That's where you learn more about yourself. And that's where the vision is a little bit more clear to you. That's when you know if you really want it or not.
Right.
Absolutely. That's so true. Yeah, what you just said, Charmaine, is that's true about being able to accept setbacks when something happened. Because sometimes when something happened and you just fall by the wayside, sometimes it's just hard to get back on track. But you have to be willing to, you know, put the effort and get back on track, because that's not the end of the world. And you're not going to meet your goal that that's taking place. So that happens to some people. They just give up and say, it's not going to happen. They think it's not going to happen. And then if you give up, then as soon as you turn around, it happens.
Well, if you give up, then you failed.
Right. I mean, essentially, if you give up, did you really want it?
Right.
Well, the thing is, that's what they say. You don't have a plan in place. Then it's a plan to fail.
Right.
Because you don't look for any expectations, to counteract and to combat those challenges that come across. There's always going to be some challenges. Even if your plan and your goal or the timeline is always going to be things that change, because we're constantly in an evolving society. When things change, things come up, things get deviated, and you can easily get distracted.
Yeah. And look, there are times where I see people give up, and it's not because they didn't want it. It was because they were afraid. It was because they didn't believe in themselves, because you didn't have resources available. And so there are other factors that come into it. But, this is where you get to show what you're made of. When you have those challenges and you break through them and you learn from them and you grow from them, that's such an important part of it. But then on the other side, I want for you to celebrate the victories, small and large. Okay. So every day that you journal, you're checking that off of your list. You are celebrating. I did it today. I woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. It was not easy. I got out of bed and I did my journaling. I meditated. I did whatever it is that you did, those small victories. It's so important to spend time to acknowledge them and to celebrate them.
Yeah, absolutely.
How would you tell people to get over that fear, not to really be afraid to step on out there and take that chance?
There's a couple of answers to this, but the first thing I would say is you don't have to get rid of the fear. You can do it afraid. You can do it worried. You can do it anxious. You can do it nervous, right? You can still do it. I get nervous doing these things. I you know, every time I do it, I'm nervous, but here I am. I'm doing it.
No, that's not true. You are not nervous.
But I do it anyway, and you can do it anyway also. So that would be my first answer. And then if the fear is so paralyzing that you're finding that you're struggling, I would say seek the support of a therapist. A therapist can help you learn how to manage whatever is coming up for you, to learn where it's coming from, and then give you the steps you need to be able to cope with it, and then eventually for it to not hold you back anymore.
I'm so glad you said that about the therapist, because I think we all need therapy at some point.
Oh, if you're Black in America, yes.
We crazy or anything. But
well, you know, the therapist needs a therapist.
To have therapy, I'm finding that just by getting free therapy by talking to all my guests that comes on the therapy. I mean, I really find that it's happening, because I'm like, wow, I didn't even know all of that could, you know, just talking. I mean, I like to talk things out, but now I'm really understanding why it's important to really talk things out with someone who listens.
Well, you got to get it out of your head. You got to get it out of your head, because when it's stuck in your head and it's jumbled in your head,
it's just with you.
You have to believe the process. Believe the process.
Getting it out of you, whether you're talking to someone or even journaling, seeing something written in your own handwriting. There's something about seeing those words that you say to yourself or that you think in your own handwriting that helps you to say, oh, wait a minute, there's something not right there. Before we get off track, I just want to say my last step is to review. So review what's going on, because your plan can change, and it's okay if it changes.
Right.
Review what's working, review what's not working, and be open to making the changes you need.
And I want to add to that, Charmin. You know, I think that people take failure as like, you know, not necessarily a setback, sometimes just a pivot point to kind of alter that plan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's really important. Failing is not necessarily failing. It's more so character building or lessons. You know what I mean?
Lessons. It for sure is lessons. You can learn from every setback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Listen, before we run out of time, I want to make sure that we move to seeking the soulmate. But I just want to make sure that Vanessa and Allison, you know, make an appointment for their therapy. You know, so they make it,
especially all Black History Month.
Wait, listen. Well, you know,
therapy. But anyway, we want to know about the book, Charmaine. We want to know about the book, Seeking Soulmate. Is this tell me how I need to get my soulmate?
Yes. Okay. So this book really is just a love letter to all of my single clients, because they come in week after week telling stories. They're stressed out.
Yes.
And are trash.
Yeah. Well,
everybody sucks.
I mean, there's pee in the dating pool.
Person.
There's pee in the dating pool.
It's tough out there. It's really
pee in the dating pool.
So, and so, you know, the support, I felt a need to provide the support to
absolutely.
My clients.
So when you talk about
their experiences,
let me get on my Amazon Kindle.
Right. So when you talk about this soulmate, are you for dating apps?
I am definitely for dating apps. I tell my clients, a lot of them are apprehensive, especially my older clients. They, you know, their Craigslist still lives in the back of their mind, and the Craigslist killer. That is, you know, not how it is anymore. There are killers on regular dates too, on dates that you meet through friends. They could be a killer too.
Yes.
I want you to cast a wide net, and that's how people are dating now. So if you
are
not
it is
online dating, then you're missing out on a huge pool of people.
Right. And it's interesting that we're talking about this in around Valentine's Day, because you know we don't want that first date to be with Stellos in the back alley, right? So we want to have some discretion when we meeting people, how we meeting people, and don't be telling all your business on the first date. Let them be curious. Let them wonder and be suspicious about who you really are. So I'll just
keep the mystery.
What my book really highlights is how how to be your more authentic self. Show up
Yes.
as the real you on the date. But that doesn't mean that you have to give them every little tidbit of your
Absolutely.
life. They haven't earned that yet, right? So you can show up
Absolutely.
as your true self without giving all of the information, all the goods from the very beginning. But yeah, you want to be safe. You want your friend to know, or friends to know, where you're meeting up with this person. You want to be able to show the picture of the person so people can see what this person looks like if you're worried.
Yes.
You want to go somewhere during the daytime if you're
Yes.
concerned.
Well lit.
That's well lit. That's got lots of people around.
Mhm.
You want to have an out. You want to have, I'm meeting you for this long and I have to go at
Yes.
this time. And you want to have somebody who can come get you, or you can call and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I need to go take care of this person."
Exactly.
These are important parts for you to feel.
One more thing I wanted to add to that: make sure your Google location is on and you're sharing it with your people.
But and also,
Yeah.
I want to add. Also, I want to add. Make sure the person that you're seeing in the app is actually the person that you're meeting. Because people think camouflage, and that's not who they are.
Well, make sure when you get on the date now, you try to get information that's important. Like, you want to make sure you and that person have some chemistry. Because in the first 2-3 minutes, if you're not making me laugh, I don't think we going anywhere.
Yeah,
that's important.
Sexual chemistry is important, but it's not the end all be all. So
it's not the end all be all.
Not the end of all, but I mean, look, it kind of gives you an idea of who you might be talking to here, because I don't want to be talking to nobody that I got to pick everything out of, and they answer me
right.
Yes or no, we ain't got no conversation going.
And you got to try the math. Let me find out who you're looking at. Let me find out.
No, but those things are important to me. I want someone that I feel that I can really laugh with, that I can trust, and I don't have to walk on eggshells when I'm around them, that I'm afraid that I'm gonna upset them or get them angry or whatever. I don't need to be bothered with anyone like that. Look, like I said, if my breath is stinking or whatever, then you better tell me it's stinking. Don't have me out there talking in front of people and people looking at me like this instead of you telling me something is wrong. Let me tell you.
I got spinach in my teeth. Tell me.
I'm a
gassy person.
Look, I was doing a show
with my husband. I had to know. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. I was interviewing a guest and my hem was hanging out of my skirt. It was hanging down my skirt. And they didn't tell me.
No, someone needs to tell you. That's not nice. That's not nice. I was gonna say I'm a gassy person. So my husband, who was my husband to be at the time, when I first met him, within the first week, that had to be exposed at some point. I had to know whether or not you could handle this.
Because I'm not holding it.
It comes with the package.
I eat a lot of broccoli. I'm gonna let it rip.
This is what I'm saying. All of that's important. But Charmin, we are so happy that you took the time to join us tonight.
Yes.
And, tell us how we can manifest stuff in our life, and it can happen. It can happen. It can happen. When it can happen, it can happen.
Yeah.
And in the future, I hope you'll come back again.
I would love
join us. If you're speaking anywhere, let us know, because we definitely like to be there.
Okay, I will. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. And I have to thank Dr. Conry. Yes. Thank you. That's my heart.
Yeah.
That's my heart. So we want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. And now you know how to manifest something in your life. So if you don't get it, that's on you, not on us. Not
on you.
Whatever. So thanks again for joining us. Make sure you go to Facebook, like us, subscribe to our YouTube page. And if you need to contact Charmin, her information is going to be up, or you can contact us, or you can go to her website and find out more information about her. So, as always, we'll see you next time.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Do you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Space Watch Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shanna.